Welcome back. We are back again with Maggie Nicholas and Bill James. And again, I am in Atlanta interviewing live with these two wonderful geniuses. And let's go back to the questions, guys. Are you guys ready for this?
Sure.
Excellent.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Maggie. Welcome back. Well, my first question is for you guys is how would you compete with MBTA?
Well, I don't think we actually will, because if you think about I mean, let's just take North and South stations in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems with it is they're not connected.
Right.
So by cross-connecting them,
Mm-hmm.
we actually add to the value of the existing mass transit system.
Okay.
Or think about all the T's.
Right.
If you could have feeder rails running out and cross-connecting them, or 5 miles or 3 miles out from every T station,
Exactly.
now people could use the T much more effectively than they do today, where some people have to drive in and park to ride. Now you could just catch another feeder rail.
Yes. Now, what are we talking about for time here to
Well,
build this?
if you think about how fast the different kinds of transportation move in a city,
Mm-hmm.
okay, buses average 8 to 12 miles an hour. They're not very fast. Trains average about 18 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Cars, including freeway time, average about 24 miles an hour. So if you look at your GPS and you look at what it's doing, it does not average very fast.
Right.
These things average up to 30 miles an hour. So they're actually faster in their niche than would be other forms of transportation, because they don't stop start.
Wow.
If you go from your origin to destination nonstop,
Right.
much quicker.
Yes. Because you don't have to stop for each people in there. Like, there's like the train. Each stop, there's you late for work, there's 100
Right, that's
people.
one thing that you should mention.
Yeah.
That they do not stop
For each
They don't wait
individual.
for J-Pods. J-Pods is...
And you don't ride it with other people.
Right.
You get in with the people that you're traveling with, your
Exactly.
friends.
Like a family, if you're going on a
Right.
STEM location, right?
Right, and you go to where you're going to go. But if you're in a family and you're going to different locations, you get in different pods.
Right.
You just go each your own way. So,
It sounds like costs. Now, I'm trying to think the cost for each one of them for individuals, or would he be going with families per cost?
well, when we're pricing this thing, we'll price it to make as much money as we can make to pay for all the infrastructure,
Absolutely.
and still make it so that customers want to come and pay to go where they want to go. So
Affordable.
we have the two sides of, we want as much money as we can get, and to delight as many customers as we can please to come use it, because the more customers that use it, the
Better.
The better.
Yes, absolutely.
So, in places where it's the same people going to and from, they're like the people who work in hotels, and they're going back and forth to work all the time, they'll have a pass card.
Right.
That will
That's
be
right.
fairly inexpensive. But if a business traveler is coming in from out of town,
That's right.
making the same trip from the airport to a hotel, the charge might be significantly higher. And because we can tailor it, each person gets their own way of approaching it.
Or like the family grouping,
Right.
like the
So if you're traveling as a family,
Right.
it might be less expensive than if each one of you are traveling by yourselves.
Right.
Now, would this, eliminate costs?
I don't think it will eliminate cars, and it won't eliminate cars for 20 years. But it will eliminate, I'm guessing by 2020, it will eliminate 70% of the traffic
And then gas safety.
Which is ideal.
and insurance. And so
Insurance.
a family, instead of having to have 2 cars, could go to 1 car. And you save a family a car payment a month,
Cost
and
saving.
it becomes really attractive.
Right.
So
This would be such a great idea for America, once again, like Margie said, to start this and to get people going. We need to get this out like ASAP.
right, and Boston's a good example. All right, in New York, the subway density
Yes.
is a little more dense than it is in Boston. And in New York, the average family spends $7,800 a year on transportation. In Boston, they spend about $9,600. Okay, in the average American city, $10,300. When we build this out, it will, to the density of the subways.
Absolutely.
So, like adding feeder rails in Boston,
Yeah.
would do that right away. people save an extra $1,012. The average family saves $1,000 right away.
And that's what America is looking for now, especially with the bad economic going on in the whole country.
Right.
Well, and this will create an enormous number of jobs, all paid for by oil savings.
I don't understand why America is not on it. Now, why aren't you talking to President Obama about this?
Well, I briefed both President Obama's staff and Senator McCain's staff in July of 2008.
Okay.
And I will give you the graphs I used at that time.
I would
you can
love
show,
that, yes.
Because it showed how gas prices in 2002 were at $1.45 a gallon, and by 2006 they were at $2.92, and that took about $2,000 per family per year of disposable income and just made it go away. And as gas prices went up, I had another graph showing how as gas prices went up, foreclosures went up right with it. Because it was forcing people to choose between paying for their commute, and they have to pay for their commute because they can't lose their jobs.
Right, and they have to
Pay for their
or
mortgage.
pay for their mortgage. And so when I briefed them in July, I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but this foreclosure thing looks just like it's a really bad thing, and it's causing, gas prices are causing people to have to choose.
And then in another 5 years, I hate to interrupt you, and then it will be much more for gas.
Well, the Joint Forces Command,
Okay.
which is a command of all U.S. military commands, issued in the Joint Operating Environment 2010 that by 2012 there'll be zero spare capacity. So my guess is you're going to see $4.50 gas this summer, and I would not surprise me at all to see gas lines where there's no gas at any price. And by 2015, we're going to be 10 million barrels a day short in the world, which
That's not good.
it will be.
Wow.
It will. We built our economy on increasing oil supply, and in 1970, the U.S. oil supply stopped growing, and peaked, and has been declining ever since. World hit peak oil in 2005.
Okay.
So never again will we grow the economy based upon oil supply growth. But we can grow it based on efficiency growth.
That's right.
And going after that 400 ton miles that railroads average, if we combine ultralight railroads with computer networks so that we're building a physical version of the internet.
Okay.
And that's what my patent is on. It's on the use. If you think of the internet as a distributed collaborative computer network that moves data packets, this is a distributed collaborative computer network that moves physical packets.
So which one's better?
Well, I think they're both great. And so, I mean, think about that the internet democratized access to information, and it made it so anybody without huge amounts of money could have access to almost anything that they wanted to have access to. We're going to democratize mobility. So regardless of age, ability, or wealth, you will be able to get in one of these, go where you want to go, when you want to go, with no car payment, no debt, no oil, no pollution, and all paid for by oil savings.
Talking about pollution, I mean, look at all the diseases out there from pollution. If there's a way physicians would hear this, we could save lives. This is an amazing project. Not only you'll be saving lives, you cost effective, safety nets for human beings, animals, the whole world, really.
Well, if you move the machine layer off of the same plane as people and animals are operating on, now you can have radically better safety. And it's not safety because you made it, it's safety because it's just the way it is. If you're not moving 2,000 pound machines, a friend of mine, Ron Swenson, calls it the rhinoceros effect. Is we're living in a when we're walking around cars, we're walking around all these rhinoceroses that can just bowl us over any time, and we have no capacity to fight them off.
Wow, just like your life, Margie, like you said earlier, like with families, women, you know, it'll be an amazing thing for families. I think not just for women, I think the whole family. You know, the fathers will be able to use it. Anyone can use it in the whole household.
Right. But due to the fact that I'm a woman and I'm a mother, I tailored it for a woman because we do most of the home work.
Yeah, it's not a fair world.
We do most of the homework.
That's right.
It's an outside light. It's an inside light to help women to save money for their electricity bills if they don't have that income.
Yeah.
And as well as teaching your kids to start being educated. Start reading at night. Like my son, I read about 20 minutes at night.
That's great.
With him every night.
Yeah.
Every single night. So it helps the kids to elevate their educations, to be better, to know better, to not get in trouble when they grow up. And I have to say I have women's back in the future. I'm going to be the Martha Stewart of light. So I have all my women's back.
Keeping the women.
For the future.
Power for the women.
Power for the women.
You're already powerful enough.
Well, Bill, what do you mean? What do you mean? She's
I heard an interesting story the other day. It says, the man may be the head, but the woman's the neck, and he'll turn the head anywhere she wants to.
That's right. Powerful women's
which is a reality.
Doesn't that Beyonce has a song, something run the world?
Women run the world.
Yes.
We do run the world. You know. But we have a great man over here that's about to run the world.
That's right. And this
J-Pod will run the world.
We'll change the world. This is going to be, I think this approach to distributed personal energy servers and personal on-demand mobility without oil is going to be significant in the world. I think it has a real chance to, you know, most of our team are all ex-military guys, and you simply preempt the need for wars to protect oil. I mean, think about right now, U.S. military forces have been actively engaged since 1990 on a daily basis, if you count no-fly zones, protecting foreign oil. And that's because we've built our economy around the need for oil. When we preempt that need, we preempt the need to be fighting over oil. It'll be significant.
Yeah. Now, Bill, how do we encourage communities
to get involved?
Well, any community out there that would like to have a J-Pod network, one is we'll have to come and see if it's practical in that neighborhood, but there's vast numbers of places that it's just absolutely no problem practical.
Okay.
We give them the tools, we look at the situation, we will come and build that. Just go to jpods.com and go under contacts and send me an email.
Okay.
Or give us a call.
Okay.
And we have been working on this for 12 years, trying to ask people permission to build.
Wow.
So we are extraordinarily interested in anybody that will let us build.
Any country. Not only in the U.S., if you're from Jamaica and you think it's great for your country, if you're from Dominican Republic, you think it's great for your country, anywhere it's possible.
Right, and our competitors now, so the one was built in Morgantown, but recently one has been built at Heathrow Airport in London, and Masdar, which is the zero carbon city that's being built in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East, they actually have an MIT campus being established in Masdar. All around the idea of how are we going to become, they want to become the Silicon Valley of sustainable infrastructure.
Okay.
And from my point of view, they've got the right idea, they're just approaching it from the top down again, where they're trying to make central decisions.
Okay.
What they need to do is do it like Maggie's Lights and J-Pods, is do it from the bottom up. Little systems everywhere. You know, I think of this like bees in a hive. Many, many tiny efforts. You know, if we're going to retool transportation, it is a gigantic task. So take the ant approach to eating the elephant. Small bites, lots of friends.
That's his favorite quote.
I actually like it. I haven't
small bites, lots of friends.
Hear that in a long time.
Yeah, little efforts by many people, and you know, many hands make light work.
Now back to the President Obama administration. What answer did you get from them? I'm hoping good answer.
Oh, no, both in July, both Senator McCain's and Senator Obama's staff says we can manage the foreclosure problem with policy.
Which they've been saying for years,
well,
over
and in
and
September,
over.
the whole banking system collapsed over foreclosures.
Right.
And so then I've talked with DOT and DOE people, and I showed them the rescue rail idea at DOT, and they said, and I've got an email from them, that's a great idea, it would really help out, but I don't think I'd let him do it.
No.
Oh, yes. And And I've talked with, all right, I'm a West Point grad, and so some of my classmates were senior Army generals.
Wow.
And so I've talked with them about it, like the commanding general of the Corps of Engineers. And these are wonderful people, really dedicated, determined, great people. But they can't, because of the way government should not run commerce, because just like they didn't come up with the iPhone.
Right.
You know, they came up with the rotary telephone and they kept it for a century.
Right.
Steve Jobs came up with the iPhone. You know, because it's being disruptive.
Yes.
Government wants consistency. It doesn't know how to be disruptive. How many bureaucrats or politicians do you know have filed patents?
None.
President Lincoln was the only president to ever be issued a patent.
President Lincoln.
And
Oh,
so you look
okay.
at it and say, if you want disruptive behavior, go to disruptive people.
That's when you guys come in.
Right. So you look at it and you go find, and you don't know which disruptive behavior is going to be good or bad.
Exactly.
So
You don't know.
You need lots of frog eggs attempts,
You
lots
don't
of
wanna
little
take a
attempts
chance.
in a free market.
That's right.
And you know that 99+% of those attempts are going to fail. But some are going to be a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates or a Maggie's Light or a J-Pods.
Exactly.
You know, there are, you know,
You never know.
you don't know which one, and you can't plan serendipity. You can't plan on getting lucky.
That's right.
You stage everything, and if you organize it well enough, you can make an environment that allows luck to jump on you.
That's right.
But if you don't, and it
Then
does
you
take
fail.
luck, it's not just smart.
No.
You can have great smart people, but you cannot commercialize a great idea without both the interaction of customers and luck.
Right.
Now, have you present your idea to anybody else?
Oh, I've talked to
talked to?
97 Senate staffs.
Wow.
I've talked to multiple governors.
In America.
Governor,
Yes.
Governor Christie's staff has been absolutely the most helpful, and they still can't quite come to grips with that they need to create a free market.
Wow.
But they have been the most supportive and most helpful, and the state legislature in New Jersey actually did a study on PRT published in 2007. So there's a bunch of really good studies, but one was the Congressional Office of Technology Assessment Study, PV-244854, published in 1975, that laid out how this can make our cities independent of imported oil. And then there's the New Jersey study, and then there's a bunch of studies out of England where they're building right now. And Uppsala, Sweden has a system that's being built, and our competitors and are starting to build in India and South Korea, and we're going to start building in China.
And we can't get America to even start.
Well, because
hopefully we get Massachusetts to start.
we've had a century of central planning, and central planners don't like disruptive behavior, and
Right.
this is very, very disruptive.
Right.
Now, what can we do, guys, to get
Well,
this going?
all it takes is a town
Okay.
or a city. So it doesn't take a whole state. If any city or town will come up with and grant us rights of way, and we have a thing we call performance standards, where don't give us permission, give anybody who can exceed 120 passenger miles per gallon, will pay for it themselves, pay 5% of gross revenues to the aggregate rights of way holders.
Wow.
And will regulate it by the theme park industry regulations, because oddly enough, theme parks are about 12,000 times safer than an automobile network. So they've got a great safety record, and
That's a wonderful deal.
it makes perfect sense
worth
to
it.
me.
Yes, me
But
too.
then I'm a little disruptive.
Maybe I am distracted because it makes a lot
Now
of
you
sense
are.
to
Now
me.
we get him in.
Yeah,
Now
well,
we get
it's going to
we
be
get Nicole's review involved.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful idea to start this tomorrow.
right. We should.
Oh my goodness. Anything I can do?
What?
Talk to governor.
Okay.
Talk to the governor.
Did you
Actually,
hear that?
if
Set up a
everybody
meeting.
were to go out and ask your congressman, senator, city council person, where is the oil going to come from, and why am I paying more at the pump today than I paid 3 years ago? Or gas prices have gone up 50 cents in the last 4 weeks.
Yes.
Right.
They're going to go up above $4 this summer. So call everybody you know and say, why are you preventing solar powered transportation so that we can, forcing us to buy gasoline?
And solar transportation is the way to go. And you also going to do a demonstration for us.
Sure, we'll show you our little robots and we'll show you what the full-size wheel sets look like.
Absolutely.
And we'll show you how we're storing solar energy using water.
Wow. I can't wait to see that. Sounds exciting.
Okay?
Wow. Now, the last question that I have for you. Why did you pick Massachusetts? What's the reason why? What inspired you to choose Massachusetts? I know about, you mentioned Hall, but you have demonstration over there.
I didn't choose it, okay? I have begged and begged every place. So I have, but
That's good to know.
But Judith Van Ham asked to help, and so a little bit of help came right there.
That's
so
right.
you say, okay, we'll go there. So it's the first who principle of
Okay.
you go where there's people who are willing to help. That's why
right.
any community that wants to do this, if they say we would like to help, we'll come and figure out how to make it work in their
Wow.
community.
That's great.
And it's the first who find the right people to drive the change, and the change can happen.
Hopefully Nicole's review will be able to spread the word
In
for you in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. And our show is spreading all over so far, so we'll see what we can do.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure having both of you
And
in Nicole's
I would like
review.
to also introduce Nicole with you to the kid that make everything possible for other kids.
Absolutely.
Timer, would you like to come?
Yes. We have Ty Marie. We're going to call him over here to...
And he's the person on the video that's gonna make kids want that light more.
That's right. Come on
Come say
over.
hello.
Oh, what is it doing now? There we go.
Say hi.
Say hello, Ty. Okay, what's your name? Look at the camera. Talk to the kids. Say
Your
hi,
name is
kids.
Ty, and you are a football player.
What else do you do, Ty?
Wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah, his dad's a wrestler too.
Right.
Oh, what else do you do?
Soccer.
Soccer? You play soccer? Wow, how old are you?
5.
Are you sure?
Because he sounds older, huh?
Yeah, I thought you were 10 years old.
And you're a great wrestler. He's actually, if you go to www.soleilmicro.com, you'll see our little video where he's demonstrating the light and showing you how bright it is, how every kid should be able to read at night with their parents. How educated can all kids be. Right,
Oh,
Ty?
yeah, Ty, tell the kids over here, they're looking at you.
Yeah. All right, everybody. It was a pleasure. Please follow up with Soleil Micro. Sunshine when you wish.
Say it. Say it. We just had Ty Marie on our show today. Wow, it was such a pleasure having this genius people here in Atlanta.
Thank you, Nicole.
And I am so happy to be here, and we'll see you back home in Massachusetts. Again, you've been watching Nicole's review. Thank you.
Here's an example of this little robot is doing line following. So it's going to follow the line. Now, it happens to, see that crack in the cement there? It happens to really like that crack, so it may go off and track offwards. But this is an idea. We could lay out a whole complex of an airport complex and use these little robots. Instead of having to build the rail, just use tape on a warehouse floor. And then this is the actual full-size motors. So inside, just like we have little motors here, inside each one of these wheels is an electric motor. And it will all drive off of this, just like the little vehicle is being driven right there. So, and the brain that's working there is the same brain that can drive a full-size J-Pop. Because all it has to do is know where to go, when to, how many times it has to pass different switches before it knows it needs to go park and do whatever it's supposed to do.
It's all controlled.
It's all computer controlled networks. So, yeah.
Now, what if the computer, there's a crash? What if
The computer stopped working?
Yeah.
Well, then there's multiple backups for it, and they crawl to the station. They just, if it can't communicate with each other, then they just slow down, and they behave. They have built-in behaviors in them, just like a bee or a would have certain kind of behaviors built into its behavior set.
Now, what's the big one in the middle here for?
Okay, this wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like there's little motors right here.
Oh, okay.
This is just a big motor.
Wow.
So here is these can go with 4 of these. They could actually go 60, 70 miles an hour, but we don't need to go that fast. But this is an electric motor inside the hub, so no gearbox is needed. It just runs off of electricity, just like those run off of electricity.
Right. It's just the bigger version.
It's just a bigger version.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Bill, for showing us all this good, fun stuff, and that will change the world.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited, and I can't wait to share.
So it's just
this.
This is just the real size one is just 4 of these.
Okay.
Combined with the same brain. And one of the things that I think is really important for people to recognize when you're looking at stuff like this, vast innovations they come out of garages and basements. If you go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and go to King Power Corp and look in the garage that they have out there, you will see an energy system designed for houses the size of that little thing that we did the picture of upstairs.
Okay.
And if you go to Millennium Energy in Ohio, and there's stuff in garages all over the country that can actually power everything. Just like Ty's moving this. This stuff is not huge. It's small, and we can do it everywhere.
It's movable. It's like,
yes, this will actually run a J-pod.
Right.
really?
Yes. So think. Can you go out and pick up the engine of your car?
You see how light it is?
Wow. I don't think
Very
I can. But
So
maybe my husband can.
we get rid of all that parasitic mass, and we go to little tiny things, and we do it over and over again, and
This is so unique.
so it's all local, it's all simple, and it's all stuff that we can build.
Yes, and an American
And
genius.
And well, I'm highly practiced.
That
To me, I think you're a genius.
I
Well,
think so
yeah,
too.
I'm highly practiced. I've had a long. You're looking at things that I've spent an awful long time thinking an awful lot about. If I would have known everything at the beginning, I might be a genius. But
well,
I had
it's
a long
coming all
time.
from you and your
Yes.
brain. The genius is the one that
Oh,
think. And you have
Edison,
this little
Edison.
genius
Yes.
president, Margie Nicholas, with you, and you guys will go far,
Well,
and you're gonna change the world. I'm
it's-
sorry. I have a feeling, and I'm sure anybody that watched Nicole's review and watched this live demonstration in Atlanta in the basement, they would know that this actually will be such a wonderful idea for the world.
Well,
Not just America, but
Maggie's idea of focusing on the need of lights for women and their children is a very, very valuable idea.
yes, it is.
And it's perfectly tuned to what solar can do, very inexpensively. Because people say it's too expensive, but when you think about when we buy batteries, we're spending $200 a kilowatt hour. If you can recharge them,
Right.
the fact that everybody uses batteries without even thinking about how expensive the electricity would be as if you had to buy electricity.
Exactly.
Because they're useful. So if you focus on the usefulness of lights, then it all works out.
And much safer.
All right.
Okay, folks, again, it's Bill James and Margie Nicholas, Nicole Samarco from Nicole's Review. Any last thing you guys want to say? How they can reach
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming to Atlanta, Georgia, and interview us. You may visit us at www.jpods.com and www.soleilmicro.com, SOLEILMICRO.com. And any questions, any concerns, any feedback, we'd like to hear from you.
Thank
you.
Margie. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.